Hello, 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 and welcome to the 100th episode of the Sovereign Society podcast. I am your guide, Sabrina Riccio. I'm just blown away that this is the 100th episode. It makes me want to cry. The journey up until now has been quite the ride. And for those of you who have been with me since the beginning, I love you, I love you, I love you. And for those of you who have just embarked on this journey, I love you, I love you, I love you. There's been so many lessons I've learned about myself, so many lessons I've learned about what it takes to run a business, so many lessons as to the importance of discernment and what it requires for us to really show up and step up and do this big work. Conscious business is can be challenging. You are cutting through so many layers, so many conditioning, so many programs, the matrix as to what life is supposed to look like. All that's bullshit, right? Like, you know what you want to create in your reality. You know the life that you desire, and you can have it. It's going to take work, but man, will it be worth it. So, for those of you who've been on this journey with me, just thank you. It's been incredible to hear how this podcast has moved you, how you've been able to come back home to you, how it's activated you to show up and step up. So thank you again. And there's going to be so many great conversations coming up in this next year, this next decade. There's just so much happening. The fact that this is the first episode of the decade, the first episode of the year, and it's the 100th episode, like, I couldn't have made this shit up. And while I've been doing this podcast since 2016, there have been so many lessons I've learned along the way. And so today I just wanted to share with you the top 10 business lessons I've learned over these past 100 episodes. And so the first thing I would really say is the importance of knowing who you're here to serve, your mission, and your sacred why. I talk about this in my program Thrive, which I'm currently enrolling in. The doors close February 24th, but you can check out experience.sabrinariccio.com/thrive to learn more and to apply. But what I've shared through that experience and what I share with my one-on-one clients is the importance of knowing who you're here to serve. Who is that soul babe client? And it's all about, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing this work? What's that sacred why? What's driving you? What's your mission? And from that, what I've really learned is it's so much based off of your experience. The reason why podcasting has gotten so big is because the art of storytelling has the power to bring us together. And in the way that the current state of the world is right now, we need more of that connection. We need more of that community more than ever before. The Aquarian age is about collaboration. It's not about that competition. And we need to come together and to share vulnerably our truth, our stories, and to let one another feel connected to something and to feel inspired and moved by your truth in your medicine. And as you allow yourself to speak and live your truth, you have no idea the people you are going to impact. You have no idea whose lives you're going to shift. But doing that, it's the greatest blessing, and it gives meaning to your life. And all of us, we just want to be able to live an enriched life, don't we? And so for me, just doing this podcast and having these guests and being very discerning on who I bring on, which is leading me to my second lesson I've learned, is to really connect with guests who are aligned to you and to that mission and to that purpose and to that sacred why. I've had guests on here that I was distracted, I should say, by their status or their name. And then I recorded with them, and it was just like so heartbreaking and disheartening. And that was tough because these were people I looked up to. It's really important, though, when you're doing this work, that you're really showcasing and having these conversations with people who not only move you, but are living with that integrity. And there's been so much I've learned just in the spiritual community too about these like false prophets and like the spiritual woo woo that's really good at marketing and branding, but the integrity is really missing, and it's been heartbreaking without a doubt. And these were people I considered friends or what have you. People evolve, and as I've been doing the deep internal work, I have that clarity as to what I want to bring on and what I don't. And that was something I was really passionate about last year, was to be very discerning on who I had on this podcast, because you guys are spending your time and your energy listening to these episodes. And so I want to make sure that these conversations I'm sharing with you are activating and that they're meaningful. And it's just really important to, when you people can tell when there's that alignment and there's like this congruency and there's this really beautiful blend of two people or however many are in that episode, and seeing the medicine and the magic and the message that they're sharing. And it's such a pivotal and important integrated overall experience that we have a responsibility as true leaders to be responsible for. This is why we're here. And it's been really amazing to grow and to see from when I first started to where I am now, about the deep discernment about the people I bring on. It doesn't matter how many followers they have. I can bring on people that have barely 1,000 followers, and the conversations can be moving. It's not about status, and I think that's a big thing we're really, really breaking free from, especially in the spiritual community, like true spiritual leaders. And so don't be, if you feel like you have a very powerful message to share, don't feel like, oh, I don't have 10,000 followers, or, oh, I'm like, start sharing and watch what happens. You're going to magnetize towards opportunities that are aligned to you. I promise you that. The next business lesson I've really learned is the importance of the masculine and feminine energy inside your business. Structures are everything. I have been, as I'm up leveling, and the amount of burnout I experienced over the years because I was just pushing myself and I didn't have the right systems and structures set up. One, the energy wasn't flowing. And two, I just found myself burning out time and time again. There was a period, where I was doing everything by myself with these episodes. This is leading me to my fourth lesson, which is ask for help, and give yourself permission to ask for that help, because it wasn't until episode 86 that I was editing, creating, contacting. I was doing everything by myself. All the pictures and reach out. I was doing everything by myself, and it was a lot. And I didn't have like some kind of plan. I just kept winging it, and that led to burnout a lot of the time. But as soon as I implemented the structures, I was able to really turn my hobby into a business, and I was really able to honor that sacred container and create that sacred container for the medicine to flow. And so many of these lessons I'm sharing with you on this episode, they're so interwoven, because it's just part of the process of unfolding and awakening when you're really like taking your business and your life to the next level. But being able to ask for that help, it brings a huge weight off your shoulder, and it allows you to stay focused and centered to what you're doing and why you're doing it. And so as soon as I had an editor, it was like such a breath of fresh air. And he's in the UK. And James, if you're listening, I love you as you're editing it. But it was a really huge decision and a huge leap for me to invest in this business and in this podcast. And coming up in the next month or so, I am going to be hosting a Patreon to help support and fund the podcast. I've done 100 podcasts now for free, and I've been using all of my own money and resources to allow this to continue to be free. And while I want to continue to share this medicine with you, I also want to give you the opportunity to get more Kundalini yoga from me, Maybe it's a group call, maybe it's card readings. The pieces are still coming together as what this Patreon is going to look like, but your support allows this podcast to continue while I get so many messages from you all every day about how this podcast has radically changed your life. I love that. And this is leading me to my next lesson, which is all about boundaries. But there was a point where the thing I've had to learn is to like overextend myself in the martyr. That's been a huge thing that I've been breaking free from and doing all the work by myself. It was really challenging, but it was part of my martyrdom that I've really had to break free from. Like, oh, I got this all by myself. I definitely learned this from my mother, and I love you, Mom. But this is the truth of what it's like. My mom's always like, I can handle it. And that's what I've learned. And it's been a program that I've had to really realign and deprogram and reprogram to what actually feels expansive and what feels true to my soul and my business's evolution. So the boundaries, which is my fifth one, they're everything. And it's really important too when you're creating a business or like a podcast that you have those boundaries, that you honor your energy in that space. Like I have certain days and certain times where we do podcast recordings. I'm choosing to think ahead. This is another part of the lesson I'm going to dive more into later. But these boundaries of learning to say no. I get messages from people all the time saying like, hey, I want to be on your podcast. But if I don't feel aligned to them, it's not happening. I don't care how many followers you have, as I shared. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. If it doesn't feel aligned and if I don't feel like it's going to serve my people, I'm not doing it, plain and simple. And learning to say no is everything in business. And especially if you're running a spiritual business, because there's, again, so much of that conditioning of like, we have to say yes to everything and love and light our way through it. Yes, love, light is important, but there's the darkness is where you grow. And that's, I always refer back to that beautiful lyric from the Queen Aaliyah, God rest her soul. If at first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again. I've tried it many times. I've failed many times with my business. And I've been devoted to sharing with you guys all aspects and the truths of building your business, because it's not all unicorns and rainbows all the time. There are moments where it's challenging. There are moments where shit hits the fan and you have to learn to work through it, but understanding and really mastering those experiences makes you have a thicker skin and it makes it more worth it. I can't even tell you how many times like I would just persevere and keep going and I would focus at that light at the end of the tunnel, honoring the journey, trusting the process. And it's made me a better human because of that. It's given me more compassion. It's allowed me to be more empathetic and to let others know just through my own stories and my own experience, like, hey, you're not alone. I totally see you. And you're going to get through this. This is just, again, thickening your skin. It's making you stronger and it's making you wiser. So just with those boundaries, honor yourself, honor your energy, and just trust this process. As you continue to honor your worth and your value, it's going to make life will be easier, straight up, because you can honor and respect yourself. And if you don't honor and respect yourself, how do you expect other people to honor and respect you? It ain't gonna happen. Let's get real. So boundaries are definitely everything. The next lesson I've really learned about building a business, especially being so in the public and always on, is to sometimes go off. Those social media sabbaticals are non-negotiable. Last summer, I took 4 months off and I only went back on because one of my best friends, Myra Peñaloso, created Kundalini gown. She delivered her baby. She had her little baby hero and she's in Canada, and I was off social media, so I wasn't able to see all the updates of all of her pictures. That's the only reason why I went back on. But during that time, I was still in my Saturn return. I just got out of my Saturn return this past Monday. Hallelujah. And it was a time for me just to be with me. Like, No, the only reason why I was on my phone was I was still keeping up politically on YouTube, watching what's going on and with the current state of the world. I've been spending a lot of my energy on that and a lot of my time because I'm here to be a leader and I have to know what's going on so I can infuse my heart and my soul. But those social media sabbaticals, I took 2 last year. One was for 4 months and one was for 6 weeks. They're really pivotal if you want to get quiet and to tap into the next phase and to stay in your own lane, because we're so oversaturated with information and so posted this on Instagram, or oh shit, I got to do this because so and so says I need to. Like, that's all about thinking and looking outside of you, and you have all the answers within. Those social media sabbaticals allow you to go within. They allow you to honor yourself. They allow you to tap into the things. And I can't even tell you the importance that this is going to be as we continue to live in a reality where technology is infused in our everyday life. These social media sabbaticals are your best friend to your nervous system. These social media sabbaticals allow you to fill up your cup. These social media sabbaticals allow you to come back home to you. So if you're building a business, make sure you give yourself permission to have these social media sabbaticals so you can focus on your mission, on your purpose, on your health and well-being, and in your relationships. So don't be afraid to say like, yo, time out. I'm deleting this app from my phone, or shutting my phone off for a week. Do what you need to do to honor you, because the current state of the world right now, the world's on fucking fire. If it's not from wildfires, it's from missiles being launched for no reason. It's an awakening that we need to show up and step up. There's no more playing small. So you need to do what you need to do to fill up so that you can answer the call and serve. The next thing that I've really learned in building a business and running this podcast for the past 100 episodes is about activating your inner content creatrix by working backwards. So when you know if you have something to launch, or you know like, hey, I want to prepare 3 months worth of podcasts, whatever it is, being able to know what that end result is and work backwards, this is how you set yourself up for the marketing, for reaching out, for creating content, for coming up with your market strategy. This is about honoring the journey you are going to be taking your audience on. And from this space, this energy can be consolidated. And when your energy is consolidated rather than scattered, that scattered energy is going to bring the burnout. There's no doubt in my mind that scattered energy is going to burn you out. But if it's consolidated and focused, you're going to get the shit done. So understand that you have the power to work backwards. Maybe this is leading me to my next step, which is that bulk contenting will keep you sane. That's the next lesson. Because if you can work backwards, right? Let's say you know the next 3 months of podcasts or the next 3 months of blog posts. You can book all your photos to be done one day. You can book all the keywords to be done one day. You can book all of the show notes pages to be done one day. You can bulk all the emails being done one day. You can literally in 2 weeks create 3 months worth of content if you just consolidate and focus, and then you can start to enjoy life. Because the martyr, again, has been such a huge thing I've had to really overcome. And sometimes I still get tested if I'm going to fall into those loops, but I'm alchemizing those loops. And I choose to not be in that space of burnout. I choose to keep myself sane. And this is why bulk contenting will keep you sane, because you're already in the flow. Like today, I'm recording 2 podcast episodes. This is 2 weeks that I get to finish in like 2 days that I don't have to worry. But when I first started this podcast, I was recording 1 a week. Burnt out central. I was so burnt out, but I didn't have that education or that awareness about the importance of bulk contenting. And this is why I want to share this with you now. I'm devoted on this podcast to be sharing with you more about your business because I've got big shit to do. And I want you guys to come on this journey with me. I want you guys to feel activated with your business. And there's no room for playing small. I've got big projects coming this year that I'll be sharing with you guys throughout the year that I wouldn't have been able to experience if I haven't done the fucking work, plain and simple. You need to do what it takes to keep sane and to keep a successful business going and to plan ahead and to know, again, the journey that you're taking your soul babe, your clients, your audience through. From there, they're going to come back. You're cultivating consistency and trust, and they can rely on you. They know that, like, hey, I'm going to follow this person because I know what's up. And it's start bulk contenting and watch what happens. That's all I have to say. This is also part of balancing that masculine, feminine, that structure and that flow. These are all the massive pieces that you need to embrace to take your business and life to the next level. The ninth lesson I've really learned is the importance of you do what you do because you love it. And if not, it will be felt, especially in the world of conscious business. People can spot bullshit from a mile away. Our generation, we are so sensitive. There are so many highly sensitive people out there, empaths, especially if you listen to this podcast. You can tell if someone is sharing something that they're not passionate about. You can tell if someone's half-assing it. You can tell if someone's doing it because they have to, not because they want to. Make sure that when you are sharing your medicine and you are creating content, that it's playful and fun. Make sure that you have your cup full. Make sure that you're taking care of you and you're doing it from this space of overflow. When I started this podcast, it was a huge challenge for me because I started this podcast in 2016 and I was just starting to show face again on social media. And 2016, I started showing face again. It was about the time of primary seasons, like June. I started showing face again. I invested in my first coaching program, and it was a huge leap for me. I was so traumatized after being struck by lightning and navigating through all the paranoia, the psychosis, the PTSD, and this was a way that I chose to heal my voice and to come back and reclaim my power. And this is my favorite thing to do, is the podcast. I've been interviewing people since 2011, since I was a music journalist. And they were breadcrumbs leading me to my purpose of conversations. And my greatest hero is Oprah Winfrey. Like, I love having conversations with people that are going through it to share their stories. And I know I'll be working with Oprah in this next decade. There's not a fucking doubt in my mind because I'm passionate about this work. I love sharing stories. I love educating. I love moving the masses with this message that we have the power to cultivate a conscious tomorrow today. And I want to help you get there, alchemizing your life from the inside out, starting and sharing your business so that you can move the masses with your message. This is why I do what I do. I love this podcast. It's my favorite thing I share with you guys. Yes, it's a lot of work, and this is why I'm going to be starting a Patreon, because to continue to take it to the next level where I want to go, I want to do a tour. I want to go and see where you are at, and I want to have my soul squad with me doing live interviews and live conversations and retreats. It's going to require more finances, more money. It's going to require more support. And for a long time, it was really hard for me to accept that. But to take this to the next level, this is what's going to be needed to sustain. And I love this work and I want to keep doing it. But I have to also honor my boundary. And I have to also honor my boundary of what it takes and what it's required to make this free publication out there. So while I love it, I'm also honoring my boundaries, and I'm going to be able to offer you guys so much more juicy, powerful content. And I don't want to feel there was times where I was so burnt out and I was resentful. And I had to take some time off because I was just tired. I was done, tapped out. I gave so much energy. I shared so much of my truth, so transparent. And I didn't feel like it was being reciprocated back at all. Yes, I got messages here and there, which was great, but I needed more than that. This is a business, and changing it and really shifting my mindset from a hobby to a business has definitely been a part of the lesson too. And this is how to keep this podcast going, is to turn this really into a business and not just a hobby. Because when I started, it was a hobby, plain and simple. But things are shifting, opportunities are arising, things are up leveling, and I'm excited to be sharing with you what's in store, because the conversations we'll be having are powerful. The experiences I'm creating are going to be powerful. There's just so much potential that is possible with this space. And this is about us together. This is a community. And right now I'm hosting my 40-day free Kundalini meditation, and I get messages from people saying that there's so many medical bills that they have that they can't afford a coach or do things like that. And well, the stories like that move me, and that's why I support presidential candidates like Bernie Sanders. I got to meet Bernie Sanders a couple months ago, a month ago, before the holiday, and I know I'm here to work with politicians to help them activate their truth and their purpose too. Like, I've got big fucking work I'm here to do. And, for a long time I was afraid of that, but a platform like this really helped me to reclaim my power back. So thank you for being here. And this is my last lesson, is to really have that Soul Squad support team backing you up. And I do feel like you guys are part of my Soul Squad team. Yes, I've got so many incredible men and women who are in the health and wellness industry and who aren't, that have my back when I'm going through it, because doing this work, it's heavy. Doing this work is intense. This is not for the faint-hearted. True spiritual leaders are doing the deep work. True spiritual leaders are transmuting trauma into triumph. True spiritual leaders are paving the path through integrity and through transparency and through it, because right now it's mucky. And this is a very powerful astrological year. And we have to understand that this is the time for us to really harness our true gifts, harness our purpose, harness why we do what we do. And I'm here to help you. I really encourage you, if you want to activate that soulful business, join me in Thrive. Check out in the show notes. Again, you can check out experience.sabrinariccio.com/thrive. You can also click the link inside my bio on Instagram. It's a powerful portal. I lowered the price to make it more affordable, that you're going to be able to have this content. You'll be able to hold on to it for a lifetime in terms of how long the program goes. And to be able to work with me in a group call 6 times, there's so much information for you that you will be able to go back to it, and it's going to help support you. And I'm excited to help you on this journey for now, and I'm open to also, if there's bigger opportunities, and there are, working with some of the most powerful people in the world. And I see it coming, and it's requiring me to strengthen my nervous system. It's requiring me to really hone in on my purpose and my mission and my gifts. And I want to help you get there too. And so if you love this podcast and it's really moved you, and especially if you listen on iTunes, please leave a rating and review to help me bring this message to the next level. Because again, I want to be able to come to you and do a live workshop. I want to do live retreats and live podcast recordings. There's so many big visions I have, and I need your help. Share these messages that move you. Of course, I love hearing it. I love hearing, and I love hearing it on those ratings and reviews, especially on iTunes. Subscribe, share with your friends. If there's a conversation that just moves you, let me know. Let us know. Follow the people, the guests that I have. Follow me. I'm not doing this alone. I'm doing this with you guys, and I need your help. I need your support if you want to keep this podcast going. 100 episodes. It's been so much of my time and my energy, and I've loved it. It's been worth it because I've been able to connect with so many people around the world, and I'm seeing that right now in my 40-day Kundalini experience. I've got people from all over the world, and they found it through the podcast, and I'm so grateful that I get to be this global citizen who creates and allows her medicine to trickle out. This podcast is listened in over 147 countries. Like it blows my mind. There's been over 200,000 downloads, and I've reached up to 22 in the charts of spirituality. Your ratings and reviews on iTunes help bring it back up because I've been out of the top for a while. But I peaked up to 22 and I want to get back up there. So I need your help. I need your support. I need the news team assemble. Total Ron Burgundy status here. But again, I couldn't have made it this far without you all. I love you so much. If there are people that you want on this podcast, tag me and them on your stories. Send me a DM. Let me know. I'm so excited to be sharing with you more conversations, and we've only scratched the surface here. This decade is going to be a decade centered around wellness because so many people are ready to be healed. So many people, we came on this planet to heal our lineage. We came on this planet to help our ancestors really and the generations to come feel aligned to their truth and their purpose without all of the conditioning and the limitations and the stories on a DNA level. This is why we came into this human experience. These memories are stored in our DNA. The soul lives on. The soul is pure. But we have to work through this. And the Sovereign Society podcast is here to help you get there. So again, thank you so much for your love. Thank you so much for your support. Remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Remember to share this conversation. Remember to leave a rating and review on iTunes, to subscribe wherever you listen, and to keep up because there's going to be some powerful downloads and shifts coming through you through this podcast this year and beyond in this decade. So again, thank you. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your kindness, and for being on this journey with me. I'm so excited to see where this takes us. I'm so excited to see what we can create together as a community. And I'm so excited to continue to see you thrive. I love you so much. I'm so excited to be sharing with you new episodes next week. I've got Ava Johanna, and you're going to love that episode too. But in the meantime, I just invite you to do you. I invite you to stay true to you, to honor the journey, to trust the process, and to go out there and unleash your medicine with the world. I love you so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for being on this wild ride these past 100 episodes. Also, stay tuned because on Instagram at Sabrina Riccio and at Sovereign Society Podcast, I am doing a contest and a giveaway with some of my favorite people and brands as a thank you for being on this journey with me for the past 100 episodes. So make sure you're following me on Instagram at Sabrina Riccio and at Sovereign Society Podcast. I love you all so much. Thank you. And I'll be seeing you and sharing with you all the juju in the next coming episodes. Take care. Satnam.